on this side came to this side, guess what? You could not tip this boat. It is untippable, unsinkable. Go ahead and enjoy a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of music on here for you. I think probably the best song that I could put on right now is one of my favorites by Christopher Cross, who now lives in Austin, Texas, is a proud member of the citizenship here in Texas, and he happens to have a song that called Sailing. I think that goes pretty well with the
Nomás que no te caiga el
let's enjoy a
teléfono.
little bit of boat floating. I'll give you a break from my voice, and let's do some sailing out here. Welcome to Lake Austin, 35 feet deep in the middle, 3 to 4 feet deep on the sides, but even though we call it the Colorado River, it's not the one in Colorado. This actually goes to the Gulf of Mexico, and yes, it's called Colorado because somebody didn't speak Spanish very well. They said, oh, a green river, it's the Colorado. No, Colorado means reddish tint, but I think you get my drift. And yes, you can be out here on a pontoon boat later on. They actually rent these out here. They come complete with a driver with high skills and a lot of attention span. In fact, you'll see some pontoon boats up here with water slides, all available out here. They have hydrofoils. That's basically a Michael J. Fox vehicle. It's a surfboard that you control with an RC, comes out of the water and actually floats on air. And you can rent them. They're all out here. I kid you not, 80 miles of multi-million-dollar homes, welcome water. Now, I'm glad that I got to drive today because today was supposed to be my day off, but the boss called me in. And I'll just tell you, I left a very sad wife and sad kids, so if you don't mind, everybody look up in the living room and just wave at my wife and kids, okay? Let's make her feel a little better. Sorry, honey, I'll be home soon. Told y'all this gig is paying pretty good. Now, actually, not my house, but I want to know the guy that lives there. How did he talk his wife not into one boathouse? Count them up, fellas. 5 boathouses. That's one for each finger. The trade-out could be the mother-in-law edition at the top, the sunroom in the middle, the sunroom down here with a 50-inch mirror, not a 50-inch television. And notice the tracking at the edge of the property. What looks like a railroad track is actually called a vernacular. If you don't know what a vernacular is, you probably haven't spent $250,000 for an elevator for your wife to go up and down without dropping a bead of sweat. It's all here, living in the land of, let's just say, luxury afforded. Left-hand side, I actually feel bad. I forgot to tell the last tour about this one, but this is called it's called the Manta Ray home. Okay, so take a look at the glass home that's at the top of the hill. This is the only way I can explain it. People think I'm messing with them, but I'm not. This is absolutely serious, the truth. The people that live in that home hired Wynn Whitman, a very accomplished architect, to build them a tribute to their favorite animal, obviously, the Manta Ray. It's called the Manta Ray home. You can look it up. It's Manta Ray Home, Austin, Texas. It'll be on your phone. But take a look only at the roof. If you look at the brown roof, keep on looking toward the center and imagine that the centerpiece would be the head of the Manta Ray, and then on each side the curved portion would be the fins of the Manta Ray. Now, the couple was not happy with Wynn Whitman when they came out here to look at it, and he brought them exactly to near this spot. I put an X here, I spray painted it, but I don't see it anymore. Anyway, he said, hey, take a look. Look at the red and white cellular tower. When it's right in the middle of your home, that is the stinger of the Manta Ray. And of course, you have a Manta Ray home right there. Now, if you're looking at that and going, really? I'm still not seeing it. Well, guess what? $45 million later, I think they probably are still wondering what happened to their Manta Ray home. He even went a step further because he's fast on his feet. He said, oh yeah, by the way, that glass, green, it's tinted to the exact color of a Manta Ray skin. So you're welcome. I don't know. I think he laughed all the way to the bank. The house next door, $20 million. And yes, that was a guy who wouldn't give Wynn Whitman the time of day. Right-hand side, I did mention the basement underneath the Capitol is 4 floors. That cost us $75 million. Why don't we do basements? That's why we don't do basements. We're built on a bedrock, solid rock underneath all that green shrubbery, grass, trees, nothing but solid rock. Thing is, even if you dynamite blast through there, it's still going to crack and crumble. It's pretty much impossible fact, we have a thing here in Texas. Tell me if you've heard of this. You have to water your foundation. I know that sounds weird. I water trees. I water my lawn. I water flowers. I'm not going to water my foundation. Well, I didn't, and it cost me a lot of money because my foundation cracked. And what ended up happening is, let's just say that we ended up having the house jacked up for about $8,000. Can you imagine jacking up a house? That's what we had to do to get it back level because there was a half-inch crack right through the middle of my living room that had to be fixed. Check this out. This is really cool. This is a guy getting ready to wakeboard. He's going to pull himself up with a lot of upper body strength. He is up and he's out and he's doing it. Yes! That's a master of wakeboarding right there. Now that boat is expensive enough, I can tell by looking at it, to tell you he can let go of that rope and it'll actually suction him in and he can actually, there he goes, and he can actually do what we call surfing. Look at him ride those waves there. You don't need a California beach or a Hawaiian sunset to enjoy surfing out here in Austin, Texas. We got it all. And by the way, that guy's really good at that. As we kind of look over his shoulder, straight ahead, that's actually known as Mount Bunnell. Nothing more beautiful than seeing somebody with some heavy-duty skills on a surfboard with a giant mountain behind. Okay, if you're from California, you're probably laughing at me right now, but that's the biggest thing we got. That's the highest point in Austin, known as Mount Bunnell. We like to make mountains out of molehills, by the way. That you can get to in about 15-20 minutes from the visitor center. All you got to do is get on 6th Street, turn right on Mopac, you remember where that's at, turn left on 2222, and the rest is easy. You'll be at the top of the hill there on Mount Bunnell Road. Over here on the right-hand side, one of my favorite houses on the block. This happens to belong to an actor by the name of Dennis Quaid. If you've heard of Dennis Quaid, he was in The Rookie. He was also in a movie called Parent Trap, which you may know. This thing right here, let's just say that he's the only guy I know that has his own bridge from the front door over to his own boathouse. And can I just say, I believe that he might be gone for the afternoon or maybe for the day. Notice the brown flat roof here above the gray canvas boat. That covering right there is actually showing you what is known as a helipad. See the spiral staircase that leads to no place down here by the water? That's a helipad. And do you know what you park on a helipad if you're Dennis Quaid? Helicopter. No helicopter, no Dennis Quaid. He's not home right now, but he'll probably be back later. Look for helicopters. I'm sure he'll be back. You know who else lives out here? Joe Rogan lives about 7 or 8 miles down here. Of course, Matthew McConaughey lives 2 miles down a little place known as the Pennybacker Bridge. He's near that area, the 360. Sandra Bullock used to live in that stone house right there, the one with the gated boat garage. But as you know, ladies, Jesse James blew that one out of the water. Now, I'll give you a little bit of chisme about Jesse James in a few minutes. That's gossip to the rest of you. But first, let's just take one more look at that beautiful Mount Bunnell. It's got a great overview of it. And if you want a better view than that, I would say go to the next lake over, Lake Travis. Let's compare them. This one is 35 feet in the middle. Lake Travis, 250 feet in the middle. This one is about 130 yards across. Lake Travis is a mile across. Much bigger lake. By the way, that's where they filmed all of the Spy Kids movies. If you've ever seen Spy Kids, that was all done on Lake Travis. And it has a better view. In fact, they have the biggest restaurant in Texas on Lake Travis, known as the Oasis. Let me just, by show of hands, anybody been out to the Oasis yet? 1, 2, 3. Talk to them. They can tell you. I'm sure you will agree. The Oasis has a beautiful view. It's like being up in the Manor home looking straight down at the water. It's the biggest restaurant in Texas. Oh, but did I mention the food kind of tastes like Taco Bell? It's not exactly the best, but the drinks and the view, phenomenal. What did you honestly think? Way in the back there, what did you think of the food? Was it average? Okay. What about my other friend over here? What did you think of the Oasis? The food? I only agree. So I bet you, I can tell you exactly the way she thinks. When people come into town that she is, visitors and stuff, she probably takes them to the Oasis, but y'all don't go there every Thursday, right? I mean, it's not that restaurant. It's where we go to show off the view. My friends come from Michigan, Dean and Julie, went to high school with them, and they came and they said, show us something that really represents Texas to you. My wife looks at me, and I want you to know she refuses to go to the Oasis at any time